Look, the thing that's on everyone's mind, the whole weekend news cycle, it's the, I suppose, real possibility that Donald Trump will be indicted and arrested tomorrow in Manhattan. To which I got to say, I'll believe it when I see it. But that hasn't stopped me spending the entire weekend imagining Donald Trump in various prison-related movies and television shows.
Remember the Stallone prison movie where he's like fixing a car the entire time? Yeah, Lock Up.
Yeah. I think Trump would be like he would be the guy in Andy Dufresne's first night in jail in Shawshank that they beat to death. Who's like, please. I can see that. I'm not supposed to be here.
I think he would be like an Otabisi type.
Wear a tiny little hat.
Yeah, he would wear a tiny little hat.
He's a very big guy. But he's got a tiny little hat. They call him Adabisi.
Beecher's been feeding me all this glass.
I'll keep eating that garbage. And then the only thing I come up with Trump in Shawshank Redemption is the scene where he is in the warden's office and puts on Mozart for the entire prison, except it's the song "Memory" from Cats.
Him standing there while they're all drinking beers and he's just doing his little jerk-off dance.
That was the day the man of Shawshank Prison sat in the morning sun, sat baking in the sun, drinking crisp Diet Coke all morning long.
He puts on Tiny Dancer and they go, that was the day we found out that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died. It was our first time hearing about it. And she was an amazing lady, no matter whether you agreed with her or not.
That gif of him putting both of his hands up when he's like getting serious about RBG is very powerful.
It's like when I found out today that the Reagan campaign conspired with Iran to hold back the hostages until after he got elected.
This is the first I'm hearing of
New
that.
York Times. You're telling me this for the first time.
I don't know what to believe anymore after I read that.
Do we really think that's that bad anymore?
Oh no!
I mean,
that's just being on your grind.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter sucked. Though, if you were there in Iran that long, you were probably doing something bad. It's like Anthony Bourdain. Everyone's like all pro Anthony Bourdain now, but it's like you don't know what he did.
I bet that a lot of them guys like Bill Casey in there who were doing October Surprise, they weren't thinking, oh, we're preventing these hostages from being released. They thought these fucking Carter idiots are never going to get these hostages out one way or the other. So at least we get them out. Oh, yes, we give them some weapons and make some, contacts for later use. But, they're out as opposed to letting Carter just dick around and send SEAL teams to crash into the desert over and over again and fail to make any progress.
Jimmy Carter was he was responsible for most special forces deaths, probably 40 stars on the CIA's wall. And then, his other efforts were probably, he probably sent, the culture of narcissism to the Ayatollah.
You should really read this.
This is a good book.
It's like what Kissinger and Nixon did with Vietnam, but not as bad. Extended Vietnam.
That was way worse.
That was much worse.
Because Johnson might have gotten a deal. Because it was the same deal that they ended up.
40,000 Americans plus an extra 200,000 Southeast Asians.
Yeah, the way that was actually interrupting something that would have worked is that it's the same deal on the table in 68 that they signed in 74.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or 71.
Yeah.
But just reading from the Washington Post here, it says, headline, Trump calls for protests of what he claims is his imminent arrest. Writing from his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida, Trump surprised his advisors by posting an all-caps message on his Truth Social platform Saturday morning that declared he will be arrested on Tuesday next week. Protest, take our nation back. His language, along with a fundraising pitch sent out by his 2024 presidential campaign, echoed rhetoric that Trump used in advance of the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th by his supporters. Now, I saw another person, probably my favorite commentary on Trump's imminent arrest is, someone said, this is a Democratic strategist that said, there's a very real chance the Proud Boys might try to seriously attempt to break him out of prison. To which I said, that is probably the best reason to put him behind bars, because like a Dirty Dozen style mission to break Trump out of prison with Gavin McInnes instead of Lee Marvin would be fucking fantastic.
But they all get like somehow locked in an IHOP the morning of, and like never get out. And like, I will say one thing about this. First of all, Trump is nothing will happen. He'll be fine. But it is crazy that this is all about money to Stormy Daniels. It's like,
yes.
He fucking like
that's the Capone for tax evasion shit right there.
Yeah. It is, yeah. I mean, he tried to like overturn an election. You know, he might have sold shit to the Saudis, and like this is like
the only reason that this might go to trial is because it is so out of his job as president. It is so sui generis. It is so only Trump. Trump's the only because the reason that they don't put presidents in jail is because they can't set the precedent of the president being liable for anything they do. Who's going to be president then? You know, so that's why they can't let that happen. But if they end up being like, look, you really can't do anything. Look what Trump did. But because you might have to do that when you're president. But you don't have to pay a stripper in a personal check. You don't have to do that.
I will say, whatever blowback he gets from this, I think it was worth it. Have you ever seen the picture of him with Stormy Daniels? Has anyone ever looked happier? Like, look at the picture of him and Stormy Daniels. He is so happy.
Yeah,
I think it's worth whatever trouble he gets in.
Yeah, he like had sex as it's depicted in Beetle Bailey.
He chased her around the table for a while.
Yeah,
while eating a giant Dagwood sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, no other guy running for president is going to do that, so it's okay.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, that'll be wild. Well, the Proud Boys, man, I'm with them. We're gonna break him out of jail.
We need more prison breaks in America.
If anybody is going to break Trump out of jail, it's just going to be the prison guards because they think he's cool.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, maybe if he does go to jail, he could do an escape from Dannemora thing, and he can begin an intense affair with an older woman who works at the prison and share her with a younger man.
He's just looking at her like Benicio del Toro, giving her full charisma, and she can't look away.
But she has to be older than him, so he like romances like an 87-year-old woman in upstate New York.
Yes,
the warden's mom.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be baking files into pies and cakes for him coming soon. But
I'll be baking files so that he can get his fingernails buffed up because they're going to look terrible in prison.
Well, I mean, Chris, that's the thing Chris brought up about like even like a theoretical Trump arrest is just the prospect of like any photograph of him of what like 48 hours without full hair and makeup team will make him look like what he will appear as without like the full team of people spraying him up, doing his hair and shit like that.
Because there was that one photo where he was at Mar-a-Lago once where he didn't have the forward coif. He just had like normal hairstyle and not too much makeup. But even that, I can't believe was more than 12, maybe 15 hours out of hair and makeup top. I need 2 full days of him away from his whatever he does to himself every morning. I just want one photo.
A couple of nights in lockup after being processed and like deloused in a prison is going to look like the bog witch from that Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, you know, with the mouth and the hair and like just
they can make you up in prison. They can like what was
That's
that
true.
thing they had? What they had that thing in Oz where like if you were like being initiated into a prison gang, you were basically like in drag until you killed somebody. They called it like prag. They would prag someone out.
Yes, the prag.
And they made
it was an internship
like
program.
Kool-Aid and like bullshit they found. It's like they have heroin in there. They could make Tanner.
I think it would be like just like Island of Dr. Moreau Brando. Like he would get turn his bed sheets into like an outfit and just
and he would be that white because that's what you know. That's the terrifying thing under Trump is knowing just how pale that flesh is. Like fucking
when you see around his eyes, it's so shockingly white.
It's like the Joker. He literally is Nicholson's Joker. Like you got to put the makeup on over the whiteness.
And he also, it's not tanning. It's bronzer. Yeah. It's not like he goes into a tanning booth or anything. It's just all makeup. God damn it. I want to see it. Oh, I want to see it.
But we know that even if they charge him, he will maybe get an ankle monitor. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to have, you would have to have like a Secret Service agent in the cell with him while he was in jail. So that's just not viable. So they just give him the ankle monitor and say, here, it's not like he's not going to be able to take a run for it. Most famous man on earth.
I mean, this is probably, you guys would know this, the Hell of Presidents host. This is the closest a president's ever come to prison.
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
I mean, is there anything even close? No.
Nixon,
right?
they hadn't even begun criminal procedures of any kind before he got that pardon. Like there was barely anything on the actual like legal docket pointing towards charging Nixon with any specific crime. Before they could get to that level of investigation, Ford said, not going to happen. So, I'd say it's never been closer.
I'm still cheering for the Spanish judge who indicted Bush that I read about.
Yeah, we're going to see that go. That's going to happen any day now. He's going to get an urge for tapas and show up in Madrid, and boom, they're going to drop that
I'm
on.
here for the run into the Bulls.
I think the closest, honestly, might be when Ulysses S. Grant was ticketed for driving his horse cart too fast in Washington, D.C. when he was president. That actually happened twice. I think he got a warning and then he got a ticket.
But in his defense, he was absolutely shit-faced.
Hammered. But so if that had gone through, if there had been a breathalyzer test back then, he might have very well gone to prison.
I mean, like,
oh my God.
so I mean, like, there's, the question, how could a former U.S. president be in jail? How will this affect his run for president? A lot of people are saying, this is what's going to start the next civil war. This is the greatest gift anyone could ever give Trump, is having him indicted in federal court to run for president. But look, there's a way out of this that I think we're all aware of. And let's just say he does get arrested. Let's say let's say he, like, pre-trial, he gets put in a certain correctional facility in Manhattan. Let's say they give him the same kind of Secret Service protection they gave another high-profile inmate at said correctional facility, and the problem solves itself. But, like, it's hard for me to imagine that this is, like, a way just not to deal with Trump running for president. Because, like, I don't know, do you think that this is like a last-ditch effort to just get, like, even by, like, the Republicans, just to get him out of there? Like, just
nobody wants him to run
anymore. Yeah,
nobody wants him to be the guy.
But he can still run, Matt. Can he still run, though? Yeah.
Yes, that is hilarious. He can still run. Yeah, he can still run.
Eugene Debs.
He could, Debs style. Yes. And then he could. The only open legal question, I don't think it's ever been decided, but if you did it, you'd be daring them to make you not. Is he could pardon himself if he got reelected.
Yeah. I mean, I still think he could be a spoiler, like, running from prison. Did you see that Ron, like, attacked him instead of defended him
in
today?
the dorkiest, like, he is so fucked. Like, DeSantis he cannot, because he has to start with the Manhattan DA is a publicity hound and this is all baseless and so he has to start defending Trump because he can't accept the premise that these guys have the right to charge Trump. But then he has to be like, I don't really know what goes on when you pay a porn star to be quiet, because it's like, hey, wait a minute, buddy. That's what they're accusing him of. That's what the baseless bullshit is. And you're saying it's true. How? You can't do it. He cannot stick any approach to Trump that doesn't undermine him with the people he needs to vote for.
Which is why I am convinced there is 0% chance he runs for president this year. I don't think he will. If
he
Trump
seems
is
pretty
running,
dumb is the thing.
I mean, I think he might be.
I think he's too committed. I think he's too committed, and he has looked at the early polls and Elizabeth Warrened himself into thinking this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, the reason this is happening to Trump is everybody involved in any level of power is fine with getting him out of the picture. He's not helping anymore. He doesn't do any more job. It's like, okay, you're irrelevant now. Get out of here. They're happy to let him go. And that means they're all saying all the time, all of the people in the media and in government and lobbyist firms, they're all saying DeSantis is going to win. DeSantis is going to beat Trump. People are sick of Trump. And look at our early polls that show that. Like, they're all disconnected the same way everyone was in 2016 when they didn't see Trump coming the first time.
True. I still feel like, though, DeSantis might have done a good enough job at not of dancing around saying he's running, because I haven't heard him say he's running. I don't think he's announced it. I think he's still kind of, which to me is like, I just feel like he might just be clever enough to realize that going on a scorched earth campaign against Trump, against an incumbent, is not like the smartest, and he's going to be branded a loser. Why not sit this one out? let Trump go against, like, I don't fucking know, Nikki Haley or something, and then in 2028 swoop in and be like,
I think he might be waiting to see what happens with this fucking indictment shit. Like, maybe Trump gets spooked and doesn't run again. Like, maybe Trump blinks because that's the hope. And this is really the lever to make it happen, because you got to believe that he is not thrilled about the idea of going in front of a fucking jury.
Well, Trump is already out clapping back at sicko Ron by saying that, like, hey, maybe one day when you're unfairly accused by a woman, and then in parentheses, or a man. So he's back with that gay. He's on that gay Ron shit. He just needs to come out. He needs to stop with Ron DeSanctimonious.
Call him
just
gay Ron.
calling
Gay
him
Ron.
gay Ron.
Gay Ron.
Gay Ron.
You for sure are making it to the finals if you call him gay Ron. That's just
Gotta say though, that Trump thing is it's not great either. Honestly, it's better than DeSantis's, but it's not great because he's saying they're fake accusations. Why would you give him that?
Well, because
You know?
he just just
True.
any accusation is false. Like any accusation ever made by like anyone.
I guess that is honestly how he feels. It's like accusations are things that you did, and a false accusation is when someone points it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the people who are like talking about Trump. Like, he's like, I saw someone compare him to Nelson Mandela. And they're like, hey, this is the moment where he becomes America's Nelson Mandela. And with that, I was wondering, like, Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years before he got out and, like, united
I think they meant Nelson Muntz, I think. Is what they meant.
But
by the way, that picture of DeSantis and the kid and the students is really fucked up. We had a teacher at our school who loved to go out drinking with the students. You guys won't believe what happened to him.
He became governor?
Yes, it was Bruce Rauner.
Okay, Ike.
Joking.
Ike,
Yeah.
can you answer a question that's been part of it's a part of an executive investigation series I've been doing? It's sort of my own Steele dossier. Do you think Ron DeSanctimonious has listened to Brand New? Possibly while partying with high schoolers in 2005. He's the right age.
Yeah, he's the right age.
Yeah.
It's the right time. I think I would like to be the Nellie Orr of this dossier and say, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I have the only thing I know about Nellie Orr, Felix, is that you mentioned her 5,000 times on this podcast.
Well, she was
Beautiful Nellie Orr.
She was constantly mentioned by Trump in like his third year of his presidency because he was talking about Bruce Orr, because this is during the like late period Trump where he was only talking about like the 5,000th most powerful FBI agent, like the
just
like the
random
guy,
bureaucrats.
yeah, just like people that no one's ever heard of, and then he would talk about Bruce Orr, who, like, I forgot about, but then he would go, oh, and his oh-so-beautiful wife, Nellie. And he was, like, calling her ugly, and you look her up, and it's just, like, a 70-year-old woman.
Yeah, she's disgusting. Can you imagine
like a
being
normal
with that?
grandmother, yeah.
It's like you're a loser because your wife's old.
Yeah. They're both, like, 71.
Assistant Director Skinner has wasted far too much taxpayer money on his X-Files.
Holy shit!
I got there's actually I got some details about the payoff to Stormy Daniels from the New York Times, and God, like you're so right, Ike. This is like this is a Trump scandal from like 2016. Like this is we are
Michael
well past that.
This is Michael Avenatti was on this.
Yeah,
he's now in jail. He's now in jail.
Yes. Yeah.
Trump called the governor of Georgia and was like, you better find these votes for me or you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And we're still like, oh, yeah, he fucked a porn star and gave her like 10 grand.
Well, I mean, shit, like Trump was trying to give her money. Michael Avenatti was just stealing it from her. So
that is true.
Yeah.
He is, out of all the people we've discussed right now, Avenatti is the worst. I think we could all agree.
Michael Avenatti was like a stage mom. He wasn't like really a lawyer at any point. He was like making Maloli and Party Down.
He was a dark horse candidate people talked about for running for president in 2020.
Oh, yes. Yeah. He had his own catchphrase, Basta. Remember, he would say, Basta.
Yeah, he'd be like, hashtag Basta on his Twitter. Oh, my God.
Holy
now
shit.
he's in fucking jail.
He's in jail. That's wild.
Well, this is from the New York Times. Inside the payoff to a porn star that could lead to Trump's indictment. It's got some great just Trump details about what a sort of a Casanova he is. It says here, at the time, it was all more tawdry than momentous. A reality star invited a porn actress half his age to a hotel room after a round in a celebrity golf tournament. She arrived in a spangly gold dress and strappy heels. He promised to put her on television, and then, she says, they slept together. The Manhattan District Attorney Alvin L. Bragg has signaled he is preparing to seek felony charges against Mr. Trump. Mr. Bragg is expected to accuse him of concealing a $130,000 hush money payment that Michael D. Cohen, Mr. Trump's lawyer and fixer, made to Ms. Daniels on the eve of the 2016 presidential election. Going on, it says, as they chatted that night in Mr. Trump's penthouse at Harrah's Lake Tahoe, she has said she wore black silk pajamas and slippers. He told her that she could be on The Apprentice, an NBC reality show. She doubted he could make it happen.
Yeah, for the record, she's completely fucking right. There's no way. Even he could not have made her a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice. The NBC would have been like, no. Sorry, Donald. Anyways, I'm sorry I interrupted.
There's one last detail it shows. Afterward, he would phone her occasionally from a blocked number, calling her Honey Bunch. They saw each other at least twice more in 2007 at a launch party for the short-lived Trump vodka at the Beverly Hills Hotel, where they watched Shark Week. But they did not sleep together again.
I remember the Shark Week thing.
Yeah, they did not sleep together again. Just hanging out watching Shark Week. I mean, like
one time
before, but I think Trump is asexual. I think
absolutely.
He paid for sex with her. I think he paid her to tell people they had sex together. I think that was what the money is for.
He has had sex like the contractually minimum number of times to be a straight man.
I don't know. I think he does get horny, and I think what he calls sex is not what we all who have had sex would say sex. He I imagine, I don't know, I could see him or just wrapping his, pushing his dick onto a woman's leg while she pretends to be asleep and just riding it like a flagpole until some substance forms around the outside of his penis. Yeah, it's not what we...
Yeah, it's the way that a neutered dog will still hump things out of instinct.
Yeah. The big thing I have a hard time with is him impregnating his wives. Although you look at those kids and you know they're his. So I wonder if they're getting that shit out of him with a silly straw and while he sleeps. I don't know.
I mean, Ivana's looks, the ones he had with Ivana look like him. The one with Melania looks like she fucked Dirk Nowitzki. Well, Barron is 9 feet tall and
it's an open secret that Melania has had a long-term affair with the head of security at Trump Tower in Manhattan, and that there was that period for the first 6 months of the Trump administration where she was still in New York. She hadn't moved down to the White House yet, and she was basically just banging that guy the whole time.
Wait, Matthew Calamari?
Very hot.
No, I don't think it was Calamari. How are you? You couldn't write this shit. The game show host, President's chief of security, Matthew Calamari.
I forgot his name was Matthew Calamari. That's unbelievable.
Wait, was it Keith Schiller?
That's it. Keith Schiller.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Melania also has the strongest genes out of any of his wives.
Okay. Where's she from? Slovenia.
So Slovenia.
Balkans. That's where all the fucking best NBA players come from now. Luka Doncic. I mean, it's
true.
They can hoop over there.
And Barron looks like he would be a killer on the court. He's 7'1". It's wild.
He's a 7'1" gamer. He's destined for the NBA.
Yeah, if you could take away a lot of the sensory problems of basketball.
If they could damp the balls when they bounce, so it's not quite so loud. And the sneakers, they squeak too much. But yeah, that's a hell of a Yugo there. He's got the Yugo genes, like Doncic and Jocic, all these fucking guys.
Oh yeah, Luka baby.